Hello, everyone. Greetings from Thailand. So my name is Lwin from Myanmar. So I'm studying my Master's of Arts in International Development Studies, Faculty of Political Science, Chulalongkorn University. My research focuses on gender equality and women's empowerment, and case studies of women's participations at the Maela refugee camp in Maesout. So today I'm going to present my findings from this study. So this is my abstract of my our paper research questions and objectives, research method, current challenges, intervention strategies, conclusions, and recommendations. So this is the research objectives, main objectives of my study. So to identify and understand the unit barriers women face in participating in the refugee community and the strategies they use individually and collectively to overcome them. As a result, identifying strategic interventions for fostering greater inclusions and participations in community life for women. So this is my research questions for my studies. So this is what specific challenges do women face in the Maela refugee camps concerning their human security, including physical safety, access to healthcare, economic well-being, and social inclusion. So on the other hand, I would like to know that what is the extent of economic and personal insecurities among women in the camps, and what coping strategies are adopted while living in the camp. And also the second one is what strategies and initiatives can be implemented by the host country, international non-government organizations, and local civil society organizations to address these limitations and empower and safeguard women within the Maela refugee camp. Also, I wanted to know more about what existence programs or interventions have been successful in empowering and safeguarding women in the camp settings, and how can these successes be adapted or replicated in the context of the Maela refugee camp. Okay. So this is the refugees are refugees are constantly being told that they must remain silent, but yes, it is hard to hear their voice, right? So, but it's also hard to hear their instant refrains. The refugees have a lesser right to exist or none at all. And the refugees, women and girls are worth less than anyone, right? So at this moment in time, so there are lots of barriers faced by refugee women and girls, not only for women, girls, the people living in the refugee camps are facing many barriers. Also, their hopes for a better future are severely challenges. Furthermore, this study here. Furthermore, this study acknowledged the critical importance of adopting intersectional lens to examining multifaceted factors that influence the circumstance and necessities of women within the unit context of the Maela refugee camp. I hope it can help the potential to guide future intervention policy formulations and initiatives aimed at the advancement of women's rights and the cultivations of more equitable environments within refugee camps and in a long context. So this is the Thailand Myanmar refugee populations map sourced by UNHCR as of January 2033. Yes, the increase in the Thailand Myanmar refugee populations is a significant concern, primarily attributed to the ongoing political crisis in Myanmar. So this crisis has led to a surge in the number of individuals and families seeking refugees and safety in neighboring countries like Thailand. So this is a conceptualizing Maela refugee camp in Thailand. This is my conceptualized concept. So human security for women living in the refugee camps like Maela in Maesout may have and encompass a range of challenges and vulnerabilities. So these challenges often arise due to the displacements, lack of resource, and unique circumstances faced by refugees. So in addition, so they may receive less or no support and human rights protections from the host governments, maybe. So UNHCR, local NGO, and civil society organization. Therefore, the research will study the situations of women's participations in the Maela camps and explore how they adjust to their new environments. So this is the barriers to gender equality in the camps. So first, women lead to deconstructing social constraints and gender roles, access to livelihood. It could lead to empowering women and making their voices heard in the community, right? So, and also Maela is home to more than 50,000 current refugees who have fled government persecutions. Part of the larger diaspora of more than 1 million current who are living in the Thailand as a refugee. Most are unable to return home due to ongoing conflicts and violence along the Thailand-Myanmar border. So in this process, women are one of the underrepresented categories and have restricted access to influential networks and mentorships when power dynamics shifted quickly within societies. Also, women face multifaceted barriers that women are assessing in difficult to assess the education, sometimes healthcare, livelihood opportunities, and participations in also decision-making process. And aside, on the other hand, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, bullying, crimes, and other antisocial expressions are also common in the camp. So when women face exclusions from the community participations and the decision-making process, so they are unable to voice their opinions over issues that affect their lives or makes decisions and take control over their environment. So here there are some research gaps. So research gaps, limited conceptual understanding, women participations, impact of camp policies, intersectionalities, and long-term empowerment programs. So these are the gaps that I really wanted to try to know how to engage and how to solve address all these problems or issues in the future's coordination plan. So sometimes like some key components of research gaps, like limited conceptual understandings. It means like lack of in-depth research that leads into the unit context of Maela refugee camps, including the historical, culture, and social factors that influence gender dimensions. Also, women participations as well. There are some lack of focus on board aspects of gender equalities and women's empowerments, but sometimes overlook the specific the challenges and opportunities for women's participations within the camps. And the other one is like impact of camp policy. The components of this gap is like there's a need for research that examines how camp policy, both those implemented by host countries and international organizations, affect women's empowerment programs. Also, intersectionality is one of the important things to aware of this. So gender-related research often overlooks the intersectionalities of identities, for example, such as age, ethnicities, and disabilities, which can significantly impact women's experiences in the camp. And also the next one is like long-term empowerment. So while some studies may touch on short-term interventions and their impact, there's a limited research on sustainable long-term empowerment strategies for women in the Maela refugee camp. So also this gap includes understanding how economic opportunities, education, and skills development can lead to lasting empowerment, right? So that these are the research gaps that we are going that I'm going to address in this research. So this one is like women's situations in the camps. I'd like to know the women's situation in the camp is like child marriage, including forced marriage and early motherhood increased in the camps. So when I heard that from some of the respondents reached that point when I visited to the camps. So also the rape and sexual abuse endemic among young women, also increased in domestic and family violence in the camps, and the increase of drug and alcohol problems in the camps. Both married and single women are forced to seek illegal work, which puts them in a danger of sexual abuse. So this is one of the important ones that we need to consider for the women who are living in the IDP camps, in the refugee camps. So another one is lack of access to justice for women who have experienced rape, domestic violence, or other gender-based violence with camps level justice responses described as completely inadequate, right? So this is the women are really challenging on this area. So they should know. So how can they approach when they have experience of rape, domestic violence, or other gender-based violence. So another one is like the other main barriers for women participation in decision-making for this age group was identifying as the cultural expectations that children should be seen and not hurt. Also, there is no expectations that girls would be allowed to participate in the decision-making process. So this is one of the challenges for the women and young women to engage in the camp management committee or decision-making process, positions in the camp community as well. And next one is like the respondents, some respondents express that a need for organizations or community leaders to support women when faced with difficulties and encourage them to participate in the camp community in secure ways. Also, like most of the respondents express that they wish for increased awareness and understanding of their challenges and equal participations and other related issues within the community, more about advocacy efforts or address their needs and rights, like more about the vocational trainings, as well as the women leadership programs, and also gender-based violence awareness programs, something like that. Also, some respondents said that so they desire more inclusive and accessible environments, including service, building, and communications platforms that they can communicate each other to get up-to-date information from the outside or something like that. So to ensure equal opportunities for women in the community. So across the respondents, there were very few examples identifying women in leadership positions. Like only the young women, young girls are not able to participate in the decision-making process in the community event or community meeting or something like that. So we need to be addressed, or we need to be considered that in the futures how we could include those young women and women to be able to include in the decision-making process. Although furthermore, many of the women felt excluded by the camp community leaders from decision-making and meetings about their community and their welfare, and this was perceived to be based on stigma surrounding the lack of knowledge and understandings about the women and girls. Well, so here is like women's agencies and empowerment programs. So so the increasing refugee populations has raised humanitarian concerns, including access to shelter, food, clean water, health, and education. And also our humanitarian organizations, NGOs, and local civil society organizations are working to provide assistance to these refugees, individuals and families in the camps, right? So that we need to have empowerment programs that the relevant stakeholders should engage the women empowerment programs to introduce the women empowerment programs within the camp societies. Also, of course, there must be challenges in challenges how to the challenges ahead as well. So the refugees places the strengths on host countries like Thailand, who are grappling with the challenges of accommodating and supporting the new arrivals. So that sometimes sometimes it they might skip to consider the needs and wants of the women in the refugee camps. So another one is like interventions and initiatives. The role of NGO community organizations and other stakeholders in implementing programs aimed at the promoting gender equalities and empowerment women in the camps, right? So however, the political crisis in Myanmar has led to significant increase in Myanmar refugee population. So that creates a present humanitarian issue, and that requires attention and concert effort from the governments, international organizations, and humanitarian agencies to provide aid, protections, and protection solutions for affected populations. So we need to consider the interventions and initiated programs as well. So challenges. So of course there might be some challenges to address the ongoing challenges and proposing strategies for fostering for the gender equalities and empowerment in the Maela refugee camps. So through this case study, so we aim to shed light on the importance of gender equalities and women's empowerment in the refugee settings and provide insights that can inform policy, advocacies, and development initiatives both within the camps and beyond, so that we can consult with the camp committee, the management, the people who are involving in the management level of the camp committee, camp management committee, and the other relevant stakeholders. So there are some recommendations. Some recommendations of this, like the respondents suggested or supported the following initiative to facilitate the inclusions, right? Inclusions, women and men are equally participating in the community, so gender equalities and also women empowerments in the communities are also important. So social support networks and visit to homes to provide psychological support to women and to support community participations and inclusions. Also organizing special events and other opportunities for women so that women can participate in the community. Also, they feel that they will feel that they will also included in the community. Also, include women in decision making within social and camp management body so that they can have input into the types and nature of the support to be provided. We should also considers the vocational and livelihoods trainings and workshop for the women, and also which would support them during the current difficulties, but also support them psychologically. And so the other one is like also we can establish humanitarian support and or a small stipend programs for the women could have a significant positive impact on their equal participations in the community. Also, it could address a range of challenges and barriers that women face, such as funding support and promote inclusivity, empowerment, and also improve qualities of life. So that by doing this way, so we can encourage women to seek leadership opportunities in the community. So here, I would like to mention that like international human rights frameworks and international networks are as well as the women's rights activists and civil society organizations have served as critical resources for the women in the camp. Right, so they are really important, the important stakeholders to engage with the women in the camps to get their equal rights and the skills, knowledge to live in the camps properly. And the other one is like the international community and the relevant stakeholders should advocate for the women to bring about change to overcome the political crisis in Myanmar. So another one is the solution. So we need to develop solutions that proposed by the refugee women on the Myanmar border are neither unreasonable or unachievable, nor even particularly aspirational. So they merely reflect their fundamentals, human rights, and as such, the international community has the responsibilities to address them. Yes. Next one is like I really wanted to highlight one thing is like refugees are not forced to return to the dangerous and unstable future in Myanmar until peace is achieved and sufficient structure is in place to ensure their human rights. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and interest on my research. Thank you.